All right, we'll start. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you to Sai English Talks webinar series, episode 5. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are delighted to have you with us and hope today's session will be both insightful and enriching. For those joining us for the first time, my name is Elizabeth Susan Valapuri. I'm a consultant psychologist and faculty member at Wimble Academy, and I will be your host for this evening. Sai English Talks is Wimble Academy's free webinar platform created to foster interaction, discussion, and learning on psychology, personal growth, and motivational topics through the medium of English. It is now my pleasure to introduce our speaker for this evening, Mr. Shreejith Thathampilly. Mr. Shreejith is a psychologist, counselor, life coach, and certified behavioral and mentoring analyst. Holding a B.Tech and an MA in psychology, he brings a unique interdisciplinary perspective to mental health, personal growth, and behavioral transformation. He is the founder of Antara Counseling and Academy Thrissur and is passionate about helping individuals overcome procrastination, break free from addictive behaviors, and build the mindset and habits necessary for lasting personal and professional growth. Through counseling, coaching, and mentoring, he has empowered many individuals to create meaningful and sustainable change in their lives. We are delighted to have him with us today and look forward to learning from his experience and insights. Mr. Shreejith, a very warm welcome to Sai English Talks.
Thank you.
Sir, the floor is yours. You may begin the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome and the elaborate introduction. I'm very glad to be part of this platform and come and present here this topic today. Are you able to see my screen? I just shared.
Yes.
Yes. See my screen?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
We'll directly get into the topic today, understanding perspectives. This topic, it's a special one because it impacts each one of us. We know what perspective is. We all have our own perspective of looking at the world, just like the rhino that you can see in this image. He's a good painter and he's painting, right? He has painted so many sceneries, but as you can see, in all of his paintings, you can see that the horn is a common one, right? That is
ശരിക്കും കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ശബ്ദം തീരെ നേരത്തെ ശബ്ദമാണ്. സൗണ്ട് ഇസ് വെരി വേഗ്.
കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ സർ, കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, ആക്ച്വലി കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്.
പക്ഷെ വളരെ
ചിലപ്പോ
Is it better? Is it better? I'll hold the mic close to my mouth.
Closer, yeah. Maybe hold it a little closer.
Is it better, Dr.
Yes, yes. എനിക്കിവിടെ നന്നായിട്ട് കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. ബാക്കിയുള്ളവർക്കൊക്കെ കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ലേ? ആരെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യോ? അംബിക മാം, ഓഡിബിൾ ആണ്. അപ്പം സർ അവിടെ ഒന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യൂ. അവിടുത്തെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ആണോ എന്ന് അവിടെ ഒന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്തേ. Okay, you can continue.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, people can hear. You can go ahead.
Thank you. So what I'll do in today's session I'll conduct a bit differently. Because any which way we say something, people hear something and make up their own meaning. That's the entire idea of perspective. So today's session, all I'm going to do is throw some examples, throw some stories, and I'm sure people will derive the right perspective out of it and derive the right lessons out of it and understand why perspective taking is a very important skill that each of us have to honor. And also, being psychology enthusiasts and psychologists themselves, this is going to be the core of every client interaction that you're going to take. Okay, so let's begin with a quote, and I'm not going to explain the quote because the following examples and stories will explain it themselves. Our world is a shared experience fractured by individual perspectives. Do note this quote because it's a beautiful one and you will understand what it is in the very next story. You must have heard of this one, right? Long ago, in a village, there lived six blind men. They were blind by birth, okay? And they had never known an elephant with their own experience. They had only heard about it. And one fine day, an elephant happened to visit their village for some temple festivities. And these six men decided to go and understand and experience what an elephant is by themselves. Now, what happened is the person who happened to touch, because touch is their way of understanding things, right? They are blind, they could not see. So the person who happened to touch the elephant's trunk felt like elephant seems to be like just another big snake. The one who happened to touch the elephant's tusk felt like elephant is nothing but a sharp spear. The one who touched the elephant's ears felt like elephant is a big carpet. The one who touched the feet felt like elephant is like the trunk of a tree. The one who happened to touch its back felt like it's a big ball. And the one who was pulling its tail felt like it is just another rope. What's the big deal? Right now, all these men, they came back together to a coffee shop in the evening and they just decided to discuss about their experience of elephant. Now, what do you think? Will they be able to reach to a consensus about what an elephant actually is? Because until now, they had only heard what an elephant is. But now, this morning, they had experienced it themselves with their own hands. Now, who would they believe? Somebody who is just saying something or their own hands who has experienced what an elephant is, right? All of them will have this urge to convince the other people that you're wrong and I am right. Why? Because I have experienced it myself. Now, unlike the six blind men who are wearing black glasses, as you can see, we all have our own set of glasses. We all are wearing some or the other lenses. Our lenses of our belief systems, our prejudices, our way of looking at things, what has been taught to us, what we have understood right from our childhood. We all are wearing different kinds of lenses. And true to the behavior of these six blind men, we also firmly believe that whatever we see through our own lenses is the truth. That is what the last quote was. The world is a shared experience. Everybody is experiencing an elephant, but it is fractured by their own individual perspectives. They have only touched one part of the elephant and they feel that is the truth. This is true for every experience that we have in our lives. Okay, so I'll share another example with you. Now, this is a made-up story. Okay, this is a fake story. This did not actually happen, but I usually say the story. So, in my counseling center, long ago, not so long ago, okay, there happened to be a couple who visited me because they had some usual conflicting issues. Conflicts were their issues. And they came in and they started sharing their stories. And I just happened to scribble something on a piece of paper and I asked them what it is. Now, the wife, she said, isn't this obvious? It's a clear 6. And the moment she said 6, the husband jumped in and said, this is what her problem is. Even if she can see, she doesn't understand. This is a clear 9, and I don't know why she is saying 6. While this was happening, I was there as an observer. Okay. What do you think? Oh, I'm sure you will have your own perspective, like another set of observers.
Yes, it's from where we are looking, what we see, we'll believe that.
We'll believe that, right? So because now I'm looking from outside, you will have an opinion that both are right, depending on which side of the equation or which side of the whatever I've drawn, you're standing at, right? And I was there, the over smart one. I told them, no, you both are wrong. In fact, everybody in the audience is wrong because you have a perspective that both are right. And I said, all of you are wrong because I am the one who drew this, right? I know what I've drawn. All I did is in Malayalam, I wrote R and I just flipped over and put it in front of them. Now, what has happened here? Through the story, what I always try to conveys that there are things that we do not see at all, but it may exist in the world. Right? There are so many things that we do not know at all. Now, the same character might have some other meaning, or it may be a character in, I don't know, maybe Japanese or Korean or Chinese or some other language where even, I don't even know the name of the language, right? But such a thing might exist in the world. But because we are not exposed to that reality, we never comprehend it. It doesn't even strike us that such a reality could exist, but that could be the truth. The point being, is it worth arguing over something that may not even be the truth? The lesson that we need to derive from this is simply that everything that we see is a perspective. Are we open to understand other perspectives? Or are we firm on just explaining or fighting and arguing over proving the fact that my experience or my perspective is the only fact or the only truth? This is one, right? Now, why is this important? Now, is it only important during conflicts? Like we only need to see through other people's perspective. We are very aware of this, right? Anytime there's a conflict, we always, at least us psychology students, we try to look at it from different perspectives. Why is this important? Does it only come in handy when there is a conflict at place, or when there is a problem, or when there is an issue that we need to solve? Let's try to understand that with another story. Now, this happened in the early 1900s in South Africa. Two competing shoe manufacturers sent their salesmen to a remote village just to do some market study, understand the market potential. Now, the first guy who went in there, he was shocked to see that nobody is wearing shoes there. Everybody is walking barefoot. Seeing this, he got devastated. He was like, he went to the nearest telegraph area, and he sent a telegram saying it's a total disaster here. You cancel the production because nobody wears shoes here. It's of no use. And he went back. He went back feeling low. Meanwhile, the other guy who came in 2 days after, when he saw that nobody's wearing any shoes, he was delighted and he jumped with joy, saying he went to the nearest telegram area and, what is it, post office, and he sent a telegram saying, this is amazing. We have incredible opportunity. You double the production because nobody is wearing shoes here, and we can make everyone wear shoes in this village. Now, what has happened? Both of them saw the same reality, but the way in which they interpreted, one saw a problem, one saw a situation, right? And the other one saw an opportunity. One was delighted, one was devastated. Okay, so the perspective that we hold decides our successes, our failures, whether we are able to identify threats or are we identifying opportunities. Whatever situation we are in, whatever we see, our outlook towards it could be negative, could be positive. All of these things depends on our perspective. So if you happen to be someone who is having a lot of negative experiences in life, generally, it is time that we introspect and try to look at it from different perspectives and see whether an alternative reality can exist in your life. Okay, this was story number 2. Now, this is okay. Now we understand why perspective is important. We also happen to know that multiple perspectives may exist, but how do we do this? Because by default we have a perspective, and we are not aware that multiple perspectives could exist. Even if I want to develop multiple perspectives, how do I do it? How do I develop it? As psychologists, we will have various tools and techniques to do that. But something that every layman can do is simply ask questions. If you are in a situation where there is a conflict or where there is a problem, or if you have a difference of opinion with someone, all we need to do is, instead of trying to prove the other person is wrong and we are right, maybe that could be the fact, but instead of trying to prove that, because nobody is going to accept it at face value, we just have to ask the right questions. Now, The intent behind asking the right questions should be to understand the other person's point of view, not to make them realize that they are wrong. This is very important. The intent has to be to really understand where they are coming from. Why are they saying what they are saying? What are their beliefs? What is their situation? What has been their upbringing? What has been their experiences? Is there any truth in what they're trying to say? If there are any merits, then shouldn't I amend my ways? So that intent has to be there inside us. And then whatever they are trying to answer, we have to listen patiently. Sometimes what happens is we ask a question, and the moment they start answering, we pick up a point and then we start arguing over that. See, this is what I'm trying to say. No, this is not the case. This is not. No, that is not what we need to do. Whenever they are speaking, we listen intently so that they will also understand, they will also realize that this person is genuinely interested in knowing me and knowing my point of view. So they will take their own sweet time to explain it to you. And they will also ask you questions in return. Because now that you have shown the kindness of trying to understand their perspective, they will reciprocate it and try to understand yours as well. And together, amicably, you will be coming up with something which will actually solve the argument or solve the problem. Maybe one of you would be proven right, or maybe something else would come up altogether, something that you both have been blind to. So, asking questions and listening to the answer with the intent of understanding the other person's perspective is the most effective and something that everybody can do in understanding or in taking different perspectives. Okay. Another technique, since we are from psychology background, I'll also talk about one more technique here. There are tons of techniques, by the way. The essence of all of these techniques are the same. You will understand that. But something that we can do ourselves or with our clients is the 3 chairs technique. Now, what does this mean? Whenever we are in a conflict with a person, or we have, a difference of opinion with a person, or whatever problems that you're having, we need to try and understand the problem from different perspectives. Now, how do we do it? The first chair that we are sitting on, now, if you happen to have physical chairs, that's fine, you can change chairs. But otherwise, what the essence is, first you are thinking from your own point of view. You have to state what is your need, what is your want, why you are right. That is something that you would be enlisting. You would be thinking about that. The moment you are finished with it, finished with your line of arguments, you step aside, you sit on another chair, or we say you walk in someone else's shoes. But in order to put your feet in someone else's shoes, you have to remove your shoes first. So you step up, go there and sit in another one's chair and think from their perspective. What is it that they are trying to say? Why? Now, here, your prejudices, your beliefs, and your line of thinking should not impact what they are trying to say. You have to really be empathetic to think from their point of view. That is chair number 2. When you have finished this step itself, you would have received a different perspective altogether. But the most important step in this technique is the chair number 3. That is the chair of an observer. This is where you would be looking at the situation from a outsider point of view, a third person's point of view, something that we do as psychologists, right? Because we do not personally know them. We do not have our own line of thoughts. We haven't judged them yet. We do not have any prejudices. So we would be looking at it for what it is, the reality as it is. And then we will gain some insights out of it, which is going to be crucial in solving the problem. And I'll explain this with an example. Okay. Let's say there's a couple, a husband and wife. Let's call them Ramesh and Radha. So Ramesh comes home after a grinding 13-hour shift at work. He rings the bell. Radha rushes to the door, opens the door, and the first thing she asks him is, did you bring the milk I told you to bring? Ramesh in his mind is thinking, oh shit, I forgot. But he's not in a state of mind to just say that I forgot, sorry. What he says is, I have come from office after a 13-hour shift, and all you care about is the milk. I haven't even stepped inside the door. You just don't understand what I'm going through and stuff like that. And the moment Radha hears this, she's not also in a mood to, understand what he's trying to say. She whatever she was doing, she also lives it. And she says, you think only you are the one who's working. Do you think I am sitting idle at home? Taking care of two children is not a joke. I have to take care of you. I have to take care of children. I have to, clean the house and all those household chores. And then you keep saying that only you are the one working. And then an argument erupts out of that. And then they keep shifting the blame. And from that point of view, where it ends, we don't know. The fight will go on, it will end somewhere, we don't know. And this is what usually happens, whenever you are fighting with your spouse, if you try to remember where it all began, most of the times you would not remember where it all began. Or even if you remember, you'd be like, oh, was that so silly? Why did it end up here? Right? This is what happens. Now, Ramesh happens to be the one who actually attended one of these talks, and now he knows the perspective techniques. So once he was settled after the fight, he started thinking, sitting in the first chair. But I'm right, I actually spent 12, 13 hours at work. I was so tired. I came home. I expect now, is it wrong for me to expect my wife to just ask me how was my day and, greet me with maybe a glass of water or a cup of coffee, and then maybe ask about whether I brought milk? I would have told her, no, I did not. I will go down and buy it right now. But then he only cares about what she had asked me to bring, and she doesn't care about me and all of these things she's thinking. That was the first chair. Once he was done with his line of thought, he decided to step into Radha's shoes. So he sat at Radha's chair and he started thinking, why did I even ask him to bring milk? Of course I couldn't bring milk, but is it because I needed milk? No, milk was needed for the children. Milk was needed to actually make coffee for her husband the next morning. So it's not that I am doing it for my selfish needs. I am always thinking about the family. And of course, working at home is another big deal. It's as good as working outside. I have to take care of so many stuff. I have to teach my children. I have to make them food, tiffin, tuitions, and then all other household chores. It's not easy. I understand. I am also tired. Now, Ramesh is thinking all of this from Radha's perspective. Now, he also understands that Radha is also tired. And she did not have the energy to make small talk. She directly got to the point of asking whether she brought milk or no. And now he knows that maybe I snapped for no reason. Now, this was chair number 2. Now Ramesh decides to sit in chair number 3, the observer. When he sat at the third chair, what he saw is a couple, 2 individuals who are tired, who are exhausted in their own work, and they both needed a break. They just did not have the energy to engage in small talk or talk about how was their day, because they all both were tired at the end of the day. And that's why it was, they were getting snapped out easily. They were fighting easily. They did not have the sanity to think it through, that the other person is tired, because their mind is also tired. Now both of them requires a break. Maybe both of them needs to go on a vacation, because both of them are exhausted. This is something again Ramesh realized when he looked at him and Radha from the third person's point of view. That is the observer's chair. Now, immediately when he realized this, he went over to Radha. He apologized. He said, I'm so sorry, I was really tired. And I know that you are also tired. I just could not understand that at that point of time. I'll immediately go downstairs and buy you that packet of milk. Now, once Radha listens to this, what is Radha's response? No, 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 I understand you are tired. Don't worry, don't worry. You do one thing, you have dinner, relax, and then maybe we'll both go for a walk and buy that packet of milk. And then peace is established back into that family. This is what happens, when we look at things from different perspective or try to understand people from their perspective. This is very important. I mean, most of the fights or most of the problems, we may actually realize that they are not problems anymore if we just try to shift perspectives. This also happens. Many a times, the silly things, the silly matters that we feel are problems, big problems, are not really big problems if you try to shift your perspective. And I'll convey that maybe with one more example. This happened during my early days when I just started my counseling journey. A lady happened to visit me. She was in her late 50s, about to retire in a year or so. She was a headmaster at school. She did not have her husband. She used to stay with her mother-in-law, and she had two children who were studying abroad. So at her home, she and her mother-in-law were staying together. She happened to be a headmaster at school, so half the day is gone there. She's very much engaged. She also happened to be the secretary at a residential association and stuff. So when she comes back home, she has those set of responsibilities, and then she would call her children and attend such classes and all of those things. So she had an active social life. But something was bothering her. Like she was like, everything is okay. Children are also well settled. One is studying, one was working. I'm happy in general. I'm a happy person, but there's one thing that's bothering me, and it's been bothering me for a long time. And I asked her what it is. So she said she's staying with her mother-in-law, who was 83 years old. She was also fine. I mean, age-related issues were there, but she used to stay home. And what was bothering her is the fact that she used to keep stalking her. And this was a word that she would always stalk me. I mean, what am I doing at home? Who am I talking to? What am I eating? I move from this room to another room. She will keep watching me. And I asked what else, and she is saying no, nothing else. This is it. Now, of course, these were my initial days, and I'm like in my mind, okay, so what's the big deal? But of course, hadn't this been a big deal, she wouldn't have come to me. Now, this is another learning, right? We psychologists have to understand we do not judge. Even if judgments come, we do not let those judgments affect the way we treat the clients or we look at the situation, right? So in my mind, I was like, okay, she's looking at you. So for me, it was not a big deal, but the one who was experiencing it, it was really giving her pain. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come to me, right? For such a, we may call it silly, but it was not silly for her. The reason she was more tensed about the situation was she was going to get retired in 1 year. And she's like, after retirement, I'm going to spend a lot of time at home. And I cannot think about the fact that she's going to keep watching me all day over. I just don't know how I'm going to take it. And I also tried to, reason with her, or, what else does she do? Does she scold you, or, does she actually talk ill about you? Nothing doing. All she does is she'll just keep a watch. And maybe sometimes if some neighbors come over, she will just say, oh, she's not eating properly. She only eats 2 idlis and stuff like that. This is what she's saying. So it's not harmful as such, but she doesn't like the fact that somebody's always watching over her. I also did not know what to do. I mean, this was a fix because it did not seem like a big problem, huge problem. And I'm not speaking to the grandmother, I mean, her mother-in-law either. Now, I had to change her line of thought. I knew this. And somehow, like we keep thinking, right? Okay, oh, this could be this could be that. And just a thought popped over my head, and I asked her, you remember you said you are busy with your school life, you're busy at your residence association, and you talk to your children and all that. You have pretty much an occupied life. Have you ever thought that your mother-in-law, the single piece of life in front of her is you? She doesn't go outside. Okay, she's not talking to anybody. The little time that you're there at your home, she's watching you because you maybe you happen to be her whole world. You are the only piece of life moving around her. Otherwise, it just thinks she's not talking to anybody. There is no human connection that she has. So, would it be a possibility that you happen to be her whole world? And the moment I said this, tears actually rolled down her cheeks, and I could see that all those years of burden that she had been carrying melted away. Because all this while she was not comfortable with the fact that somebody's watching over her. But the moment that perspective shifted from being watched over to being someone's world, being the only piece of life somebody's looking up to or looking after, her entire feeling of being burdened or being disturbed changed over. In fact, I think she felt guilty as well that she was not looking at it at that way, and at the same time, she had ill thoughts about the mother-in-law. I mean, he was a problem, looked at her as a problem, and then tears was the result of the shift in perspective. And she said, "Yeah, that really makes sense." Now, what we we have to understand is That was just an idea or a thought that popped in my head as an observer. That may not really be the fact. I haven't spoken to her mother-in-law. I don't even know what's going on in her head. But just a thought an idea that I shared created a shift in perspective in her mind. And years of, that sadness that she was carrying was relieved simply because of an idea, a perspective which could be a possibility. We do not have to rush behind the truth if as long as it is solving the problem, because we may never realize what the truth is. The shift in perspective is needed to solve the problem, relieve our stress. So this was one more case study which I always share, because this was maybe one of the first experiences where I also could bring about a very lasting change in a single session, just with a random thought that came up in my mind. Okay, so that's all that I had to share regarding perspective in this session. I hope the examples resonated with you. I hope you now understand why everything that we do and everything that we see is our own perspective, and it may not be the truth. So here's another famous quote, by the way: everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. And the very best example for this is our news channels. You must have seen, no, how the news channels report the same incident in different ways, depending upon who they are inclined to. Maybe, maybe if they are inclined to different political parties, they would report the same news favoring the political parties that they're inclined with, right? So everything that we hear is an opinion, and everything that we see is a perspective. It may not really be the truth. What we need to do is we need to be able to remove our lenses and be open to wear different lenses to look at the world with different perspectives. Okay, so that's it. Thank you all for listening to me patiently. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Susan ma'am, for the opportunity, and Wimble team for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shreejith sir. Wonderful session, because you really helped each one of us to think about the perspectives that we carry with us, and then shifting that makes a big difference. So shifting the perspective is very important, to see the problems from a different side. So then that way we are able to figure out, if there is another way of looking at it, and we can actually, just like the case study that you the case that you shared, it really resonates that she was able to see, with that one question, she was able to see another perspective, which she was blind to before, right?
Yeah.
She was, for many years, she was not even looking at it. So anyway, what you said is very correct. Everything we see, we hear is an opinion, not the truth. And everything that we think
is a perspective,
yes,
not with the fact.
not the fact, not the truth. Yes, very true. So shifting perspective is very important for solving problems and solving our relationship issues and everything. Thank you very much. It was wonderful. So I'll open the session to the floor, so everybody can respond to their views. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Shreejith ji.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I joined from USA.
Okay.
Now, the facts you are shared, they are absolutely true. Facts are facts. Unfortunately, I use the word unfortunately. It is very, very difficult to make a person examine their opinions and understand the perspective of another person. I didn't say it is impossible. I said extremely rare. Why all these conflicts, religious conflicts in our country itself?
Yeah.
That each party, their religion, they have a different perspective.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll be able to change that one? Virtually impossible. There's no religious that harmony. That one is because this is the right thing. They refuse to change. That is their perspective.
Yeah.
And even the wars are also because of a different perspective.
Right.
So in real life, very rarely you will succeed in changing the perspective. That's all what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
all.
you.
Okay.
I'll just add one more thing to what Venus has said. So wars and all are a different thing altogether. Maybe we would have very minimal influence over it, but in our normal lives, um, whenever we have a difference of opinion or we are in a problem, this is what we usually try to change the other person's point of view or to change or make them understand a different perspective. And that is where, because the other person is also trying to do the same. Our intent should not be to make them understand our perspective. Our intent should be to understand their perspective. And in that process, make it seem like we are really interested in them so that they reciprocate and they also in turn try to understand ours. And then the problem gets solved. If we are, this is not about what Venus has said, but then generally this is where the problem lies. Okay, we are adamant to actually impose our perspective on others, or maybe tell them that your perspective is wrong. And that's what this entire session is about. I'll share something interesting with you. And this happened today. I happened to post the same topic, the same example of the husband and wife, the six Dara story on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and very recently I started posting videos. Now, the comments that I received, it's like, you're wrong. 6 and 9 can never be Ra. So what has happened there? Instead of understanding the essence of the message, they picked up a technicality that 6 or 9 can never be made Ra. And they picked up on that, and that is what they commented. And I commented there, maybe you can try, because before making this slide, I actually tried that. I am a little finicky about it, so I want to be technically correct. But so I tried doing this, and it's possible, by the way. You just have to flip the page. If it's a transparent page, if you flip it, it happens. But I did not go on explaining it because, again, then I would be contradicting my own saying, trying to impose my thoughts on them, saying that, no, you are wrong, I can do it. So I did not respond there. And then I received another comment saying that, you're wrong, you said Ra, but it is Ra. My Malayalam is bad, I know that, because 30 years I spent in Mumbai. So my Malayalam as such has a weird accent. And he was right. Maybe in that video, I said Ra instead of Ra. But what are people focusing on? That's not something in our hands, right? I mean, the entire essence of the message was lost, and people were trying to pick up things that were mistakes in my videos. This is what happened. One of them even commented, I wonder whether he's actually getting clients out of that mistakes that, yeah, it's there. I just couldn't help it, but I laughed it off because this is what is happening. Our way of looking at the world, or our way of looking at things, somewhere we are wired to look for mistakes, somewhere because that makes us feel that we are superior or we are better. And the moment we realize we have a strong belief that we are the better ones than others, we try to impose our thoughts on them simply because we just cannot accept what they have to contribute to us. This is what is happening. So, it just occurred to me when Venu sir said about the political parties and wars and everything, but because countries are also doing the same. What they stand for is the right thing. I don't want to listen to what you are doing. These individuals are weak countries. It's the same problem.
Shreejith, first and foremost thing, that is, I'm sure that you might have read the book. I'm okay. You are okay.
I have.
So the four scripts are, and one of the scripts is, I am okay. You are not okay. That is what many people.
Yeah.
And especially if they have some college education, the moment and higher qualifications, then they become very close-minded.
Yeah.
That open-mindedness gone.
Yeah.
And if they get a PhD, forget about it. PhD in America, they expand that one to permanent head damage. That is PhD. So with the PhD, then they refuse to accept any different view. They think that they are right. I am okay. You are not okay. Then forget about changing my perspective.
Yeah.
You must change your perspective. Yes, I'm okay. The problem is your perspective. Finish.
Right.
Then that will lead to more argument.
Right.
So you will reach Nowhere, my dear friend.
Right.
Nowhere. That is it. So that is my take-home message.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you.
speaking on the basis of long-standing professional experience as a physician and as a behavioral scientist in the USA.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
Thank you so
that
much
is it.
for sharing.
Okay, right.
Anybody else? have any
Anybody
questions?
else? Anybody else?
Good evening, Shreejith, sir.
Good evening.
Very nice session. About the perspective. Normally in real life, if you just make a study, we always try to force upon others our perspective. That's
Yeah.
what is reality. And my feeling is because of late I got interested in psychology and I felt that I need to know only through this subject we try to think from others' angle.
Yeah.
In no other subject gives us an opportunity to think about others. We never we may there are so many proverbs around us, and the word we say is empathy. We say empathy
Yeah.
is what we need to step on into the shoes of others and think from their angle, which is just a saying, which in practice we don't do it. So psychology is a subject which makes us think from others' angle. So we need to be concerned about others. So as you say, through your examples and the case study, it's really understandable that we need to think from others. That three chairs, very well explained. Your explanation was excellent. It was very understandable one. The thing is, I think at least after your session, we each one of us who has attended this, we need to think from others' perspective as well, so that we can at least minimize. If we can't, don't wipe out the problems around, which is impossible to wipe out the problems around us.
Yeah.
We can minimize. At least we can, what to say, be in peace at some point of time. And this is very much required in a family situation. Because I, being basically an advocate, I see that your 6 and 9 issues always there, especially in the present society, the youngsters.
Yeah.
You are competing between each other and you are trying to impose your perspective on the other, which is difficult because there was a society wherein girls were not educated, but today it's not that. So unless and until you think of what to say from both perspective, but somewhere in my field I have seen that now the situation there from patriarchal to matriarchal situation is moving on. We are seeing so many cases around us wherein the men folk are becoming victims.
Yeah.
So in a married life, this perspective is very, very important. Don't try to impose your perspective on others. Try to be an understanding. Thank you very much for the session, sir. It was very, very enlightening and your explanations were so well presented. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Shreejith.
Namaskar. Yeah.
Very nice presentation with clearing all the problems very clearly and simply. You had explained the problems, and my perspective is that the family, the correction should be started from the family. The sir from USA, he told about the problems in our country.
Yeah.
But if you correct the problems from the family itself, if you are correcting the problems from the family, you have to start from the family. Then everything will be okay. See, when the husband comes to the house, what is is it the first thing to ask whether you brought the packet of milk? No, there is an apt time to see how to accept. Okay, see, you explained in three perspectives.
Yeah.
Very nice explanation, and I think my suggestion is the correction should be started from our own family. If our family is correct, our perspective is correct. If you are correcting from the family itself, the country will get fine.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Thank you very. You're the thank you about thank you for your clear explanation about
Thank you,
all
sir.
the problems.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would like to just add on to what Dr. Rajendran sir said, because see, this is what it is, right? We all have our perspectives. Uh, just like sir shared that, problems need to be addressed from the family. Now, there is his perspective, right? And we can never say one perspective is right or the other perspective is wrong, and that's the entire session about. Because now I will have a different perspective, saying that it's not even the family; it has to start from the individual. And secondly, to add on to that, maybe it's not about right or wrong. See, it is conflicts are never between right or wrong. It's always between my right and your right. Okay, that's where conflicts happen at any scale. It is my right versus your right. I firmly believe that my right is the right perspective. That's why I'm fighting. It's my firm belief, and so is the other person doing the same thing. Now, even in that example,
I meant
no,
sir, I meant the correction should be started from our family.
Correct. You're right. I agree with you. I do agree with you. It's just that one example, but I do also disagree with you in one of the examples that you actually pointed out, and it is just my perspective. Again, there could be disagreements in perspective, but I will never say that your perspective is wrong. Okay. The example being, as I said, when the husband comes home and the wife asks first thing, is that the right time to ask? See, there is no right time to ask something, right? If in both the cases, had each of them been receptive of each other, like try understanding each other's perspective, the fight could have been avoided. Like, for example, the first thing the wife asked is, has milk been brought? Husband could have said no, but he snapped out. Now, when he snapped out, the wife could have understood that, okay, maybe he's tired, so let's not continue it. But she also snapped out. So, as an outsider, what I'm seeing is both of them snapped out for something that is very silly. Both of them are tired. That's what the observer's perspective is, right? So, was the wife wrong? No. Was the husband wrong? No, because both of them did what they felt is the right thing to do at that point of time. So, if either one of them were willing to understand the other person, the fight could have been avoided. Right. So perspective taking begins at the individual level. Even at the family level, it is not about trying to make my partner or make my kids understand my perspective. It is trying to understand that multiple perspectives exist. Everybody is doing what they feel is the right thing to do. Am I open enough to try and understand what all of these people around us are trying to do and say? That is real perspective taking. It starts with me.
The root cause.
Yeah. So thank you so much, sir, for bringing that up, because see, this is how it is, right? For now, he had this perspective which is not wrong at all. Okay, I have my own set of perspectives. So different perspectives can coexist, and that is what this world is. Everybody has different perspectives, and all of them can be right. We just have to be open to that idea that we can coexist with different perspectives. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, sir.
Hello, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi.
Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Okay. So if you are thinking about other perspective, sometimes we making it's because of maybe making excuses for them.
Yeah,
No.
I did not understand. Sorry.
No, I'm asking if we are thinking about other perspective,
Yeah.
somebody will consider it as we are making excuses for them also.
No, we are just trying to understand their point of view, right? It's simply trying to understand their point of view. Perspective is nothing but the way we look at things, the way we understand things, the way we interpret whatever is going around, in front of us, a particular situation. So I am understanding something else. Like I said, no, this session itself, there are 18 people in the session right now. I'm sure everybody must have drawn different conclusions from the session. And that's how it is, not just this session, be it any session. Now, what is it that you have derived? Now, like Rajendran sir derived something. And I happen to agree with almost 99% of what he said. I also happen to disagree with 1% of what he said. But I respect what his perspective is, because, multiple viewpoints can exist together. So I'm not making excuses for the other person. I'm just trying to understand what the other person's point of view is. I may disagree with it, but it can still exist simply because that may be the truth. The idea is that it's just internalizing the fact that whatever we know may not be the truth. It is just my idea of the truth. A different truth can coexist. That's the idea. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you. And very nice section also.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Shreejith, I would like to know the name of your YouTube channel. Can you just put in the chat box?
It's my name, Shreejith Thathampilly.
No, channel, YouTube channel.
The channel's name is. You want the link?
Yeah.
Susan ma'am, can I share the link in the group? Would that be okay? Or should I share it here on the chat? You're muted.
Can you put it in the chat box? I think he can take it from the chat box. He finds it easier. I think he was asking for the chat box.
Yeah. Chat
Okay.
box, in the chat box, put that link.
Can you? Yes.
I will have to look that up. I will share that. Meanwhile, if somebody has another set of questions.
Ambika ma'am, you have anything to say? I think you are unmuted.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Shreejith sir, for your wonderful session. That is somewhat insightful for all of us. And I think that you began the session with the story, that is the blind people and this elephant, and so many stories how this perception of this different person. Maybe in the case of this Digit 6 also is somewhat we are all this perception may be different in this when we are when we are concentrating on different points, the perception also is different. And you have shared this so many stories in the family. The conflicts are occur in the case of this couples also. This conflict is occurring because of the perception only that. And this Venu sir and this Rajendra sir shared so many things in this politics and in the religions and in the family and the friendship, everything we can see this perception, the difference of the perception, that is the cause of this conflict. And we have to as an observer or this counselor, what we have the third chair technique is also an important one. And this as an observer, this we have to say be aware of the other person of this the perceptive. That is the way we can solve it. That is a wonderful insight we got from your session. Thank you for your wonderful session. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I've shared the YouTube link and the chat box.
Yes, doctor, you got it right. I think he must have got it. It's there.
Or else I'll put up.
Yeah, I got it.
A message on WhatsApp also. If somebody wants that, you can personally message me. I'll share it with you. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you all. Thank you. Anybody else has any questions? Or
I think Reena is trying to say something. Reena, are you on mute? We can't hear you though. You're unmute, but we can't hear you. Say something. Can't hear. Can you hear? I can't hear.
No, I
Something with the voice. Yeah, something with the voice. Yeah, now you're on mute. Okay, now try it. No, it doesn't seem. It's showing that it's on mute. But anyway, okay. Not sure what it is. Yeah.
I can read her lips. So lip reading, that is an excellent session. That is what she said.
Okay, okay. Okay, Reena, what you can do is, can you put the feedback in the group? You can put the feedback in the group, and anybody else also, if you want to give feedback, please do put it in the group in our size space. Okay, so that everybody can see it, and especially Shreejith sir can see it too. So once again, thank you very much, sir. Excellent session. I'm sure that it is appreciated by one and all, and it was really worth our time listening to you. Seeing things and the importance of seeing things in different perspectives and shifting perspectives that can really help us in our relationships. So once again, I thank you from on my part, as well as from everyone who attended, and also Wimble Academy. We extend to you a sincere gratitude, and we look forward to seeing you again on this platform some other time with more interesting topics like this. And in the meantime, we look forward to seeing each and every one of you back here again next week, same time. We'll have another presenter with another interesting topic. Thank you very much for your patient listening and for attending the full session. Thank you so much, and good night all.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Good night.
Expecting more sessions.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you once again. Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.